Meeting of June 29th, 2020 of the Township of Washington Township Council. Adequate notice of the meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by the Township Clerk to at least 2 newspapers on June 19th, 2020. And this notice has been posted on the Township Bulletin Board, Electronic Message Board, WCTV, and on the Township website. Salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio. Councilman Casio. All right, Stacey, he was saying that he is driving down 95 and he might lose this and have to call us back in.
Okay, so let's keep going. So
Councilman Cumming?
just so everybody knows, he was on the call earlier. He'll call back in.
Councilman Casio?
Here.
Okay, Councilman Cumming?
Okay,
Councilman Cumming?
might be on mute.
All right, let me go through. Councilman DeSena?
Here.
Councilwoman Morgan?
Here.
Council President Feeney?
Here.
Councilman Cumming, did you come in yet? I guess not. Is it him? All right. Stacy, you have to get Art in here.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
I just texted him to see if he was able to get in.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him the link. Maybe he needs it.
Can everyone mute their mic if they're not on because it's getting a lot of static?
Desiree, I think it's yours. I think you're moving some papers around.
I haven't moved anything.
Yeah, I'm on mute except for when I'm talking.
Okay. Maybe it's Sue moving papers around.
No, I'm not touching anything. I'm trying to put my mouse finding you guys and I'm still not finding you.
Okay. Okay, that's okay. You can hear us. That's what matters.
Art, are you there yet?
Art just said to me, we get no call. Click. Okay, can you call him, please?
He said he's on the dashboard, Stace.
I know, he needs to be called.
Yeah, but
He said
Stacey,
he
I'm
didn't
telling
get
you,
a call.
but I don't have anybody here. That's what I'm saying. I told you I don't see anybody, so I don't have my voice call or anything on the side.
So go to the dashboard. Sue, go to the dashboard. Sue, go to the dashboard.
I hear you, but I'm seeing it's a group voice call. All right, look, I'm gonna reboot.
No, go to the. Okay.
Mayor, do you know when we can get back in the council chambers?
I do not yet. We want to open town hall first. Preliminary thinking is because there's only one meeting in July and one in August, is that, we would start in September, but that could be adjusted sooner if things go well with the reopening of town hall.
Okay, great. Mike, are you still hearing static?
No, it stopped. It stopped. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Desiree, for some reason, you're showing up twice on my screen.
Because I got kicked out
Okay,
and then
yeah, 'cause-
I came back in and I see myself twice as well.
Yeah, okay, because one is D. Morgan and the other one's Desiree Morgan.
So weird.
Yeah.
That is odd. But I don't see myself in any of them. I'm just a gray screen. Do you actually see me?
No, we do not see you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't either, but
Do you have your video on, Desiree? Because you have to start your video every single time.
Yeah, it doesn't even give me an option.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because on the one that says Desiree Morgan, I have the red triangle,
Right.
and the other one's just a gray screen.
The
Can you
ninja
see?
star.
Hold on. Maybe it's going to allow me. Hold on. Yay!
There you are.
User error.
Those things happen.
Yeah. It said start video, and I was thinking it meant record, so I didn't want to record it. What happened to everyone else?
Don't know.
Okay, I'm here. I don't know what's going on with Sue, why she can't get on. It says that she can get on. There's no, I can tell from the system that it says she can, so I don't know what's going on.
There's an option. It says invite by link. If we send,
Yeah, I'm
the
doing
art-
that.
Yeah.
I did that for art.
Okay.
with roll call. Sue, could you do roll call again, please?
Absolutely. Councilman Casio.
Here, kind of.
Councilman Cumming.
Here.
Councilman DeSena.
Here.
Councilwoman Morgan.
Here.
Council President Feeney.
Here. Let the record also reflect also in attendance Mayor Calamari, Township Administrator Tovo, Township Attorney Poller, Township Clerk Wachowski. Also in attendance via telephone conference is Gary Vinci from Lurch, Vinci, and Higgins. Sue, can you just text him, make sure he's on?
Gary, you on?
I am on.
Okay, awesome. Okay, we have no approval of minutes. I don't have a PSA. I have two PSAs for this evening. The first one is, please patron our restaurants in town. Bakari has outdoor dining, so does the Doghouse. Originals also has some outdoor dining. Please remember Dairy Queen, Lily's Bistro, Wingley Kitchen, and also Food Town does do takeout. They have prepared foods, so please keep them in mind. And the outdoor dining is a very nice option this time of year. Also, again, if any resident is in need, please go on the township website for COVID-19 relief and click on the link and you'll see how you can get relief for COVID-19. Okay. General public discussion, limit to 5 minutes. To participate in the general public discussion portion of the meeting, please dial in on 201-664-4659. You will be asked to state your name and address for the record, and we ask that only one person speak at a time. Please note that at the end of the general public discussion, no more calls will be accepted. Motion to open the public discussion.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Please open the line.
Yep. Hello?
Hi, good evening. Is anybody on the line? Hey, Councilman Casio, is your line muted by chance? Somebody's in a car, I think. Good evening. Is anybody on the line? Could someone text Steve
Hello?
and see if his phone's on mute?
Steve, is your phone on mute? I'll message you. Yes, sir. Yeah, 1 second, please, Mr. Ullman. You've got interference right at the moment.
I think
Yeah,
it sounds like Steve's phone's not on mute.
that's what I'm asking him. Okay,
Okay.
I hope not either.
Or somebody's on the line who has if you're on the line and you're not speaking, could you please mute your phone? We think we have some feedback from one of the callers. Somebody's got some feedback on their phone. Unfortunately, this would have happened regardless of what product we used. So, okay, Mr. Ullman, are you there?
I am here.
Okay, great. It seems to be quiet now. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you. The only comment I have, it's not really a question, is I was looking at the agenda and I didn't see an update on the meetings and the opening of town hall. And I was wondering how come we're having that update from the mayor, which I think is great, but when Councilman DeSena tried to interject in the last special meeting, he was shut down and told that the only thing that could be discussed is items on the agenda. So I think that, you know, if it's not on your agenda, it gets shut down, but anything else is fair play. And that would be my only comment. I think, and I appreciate the mayor's comment, and I think we should have that type of dialogue, but I do think that you were unfair to Mr. DeSena at that time, and I think you're being disingenuous now. Thank you very much.
Mr. Ullman, when you were saying you, I'm sorry, was he talking? Okay, I'm sorry. Didn't hear the beginning. I don't know who he was directing that at. But thank you very much for calling in and for your opinion. Is there anyone else on the line?
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Verso 12 Viola Terrace. Question.
Calling in.
You having a, can you hear me?
Yes, Mr.
Oh.
Durso, thank you for calling in.
Okay, my question is, are we getting a update on the tax bill that went out over the weekend that looks much different? Next question, having to do with the tax bill, did you receive the numbers from the Board of Ed on the school? I don't expect an answer yet. And is there going to be an update on the DPW relocation, temporary relocation? And have you gone out for bid yet on the firehouse? And at that point, I guess that's all I have. If you feel like responding, that's great. I can hang up and listen.
Thank you, Mr. Durso. I'm going to actually answer your last two questions first and then let Mr. Vinci answer the first two questions. So we do not have an update on the DPW right now. As you are aware, since you were a council member, the negotiations haven't finished with the administration. So there was some back and forth on a closed session previously. We don't have those answers yet, and the administration is still working on the council's inquiries. So we do not have an update right now as to the DPW. The negotiations are still moving forward. The firehouse, I believe they were waiting for some information. Mr. Mayor, could you give an update on that, please?
Yes, I can. I believe the bid package went out either Friday or today, but I will confirm that first thing tomorrow and put an update on the website.
Great, thank you very much. And
You're very
then Mr. Vinci, could you please update Mr. Durso on his questions regarding the estimated tax bills that most of the residents in town have received by now?
Sure. So this year, obviously, with the unique situation that we're all dealing with, the state of New Jersey actually a few months ago advised all municipalities to send out estimated tax bills for the third quarter. It's very rare that they recommend such a practice. A lot of towns were doing that, but their recommendation to issue the tax bills was because they expected a delay in certifying municipal budgets back to the county tax board. And with that delay, the final tax rate could not be established. What also compounded it this year is that Bergen County has not adopted their annual budget. Their budget hearing is not scheduled until July 29th. So a final tax rate most likely will not be known in Bergen County till sometime in August. So in May, the tax collector prepared a certification based on the statutory limits that a levy is allowed to increase with an estimated tax, and that's a 5% increase over the prior year. So the estimated tax bill is really just for that quarter. So once the final tax rate is known, any adjustment, plus or minus, will then appear in the fourth quarter bill, which goes out and is payable starting November 1. The school tax number was confirmed with the Board of Education. They gave us and the tax collector the calendar year levy for their operation. So the council passed a resolution in May, and I think part of the issue is the collector wanted to have the bills printed, knowing that quite a few municipalities were expecting to send out the bills. And as I mentioned, any adjustment based on the final tax rate will be clarified in the fourth quarter bill once those bills are sent out. And based on what I was told by the county today, those bills may not go out sometime towards the end of August.
Thank you, Mr. Vinci. Mr. Durso, does that answer your question?
I think he might have hung up. Stacy.
Oh, he did. Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Vinci, very much for that.
Mrs. Feeney, can we ask
response.
Mrs. Feeney, can we ask Mr. Vinci a question?
Sure, absolutely.
Mr. Vinci, you stated you got the tax numbers from the school. What number did you use for the township?
Well, the number that was in the resolution was actually estimated before the budget was introduced. So
Okay. And what number was that?
I'm sorry?
What number was that?
9,661,583.
So that shows only a surplus usage of 1.5 million, correct?
All I have is the resolution that was submitted to the council. I don't have what budget that was based on.
Mr. Vinci, could you just, if possible tomorrow, could you just let us by email know which surplus number was used in that number? Or can we get that from Mr. Corcoran? Maybe Mr. Corcoran would have that information?
Well, 9.6 puts you at 1.5.
Right. So, but just to confirm, to make sure, but if honestly, if that's what it is, and since these were estimated, I mean, is there anything, it'll be made up in fourth quarter. So I did receive some phone calls from some residents who said that they thought it was a little high, and I did let them know it was an estimation of the tax bill because of the adoption of the budget. So, and also with the county issues.
Right. You also have to remember, too, the county number has to be estimated. So that allocation countywide is not going to be known for another month or so.
But
So there may be an adjustment for the county levy as well.
But Mr. Vinci,
You said that, I'm sorry. When did you say the county was supposed to release the number?
So the county budget hearing is July 29th. Obviously, you're not going to know if they're adopting the budget till that point. Then they have to allocate the county taxes countywide.
Okay.
So
Sorry, Councilman.
it varies by municipality by your valuation increase in 2020.
Okay.
but Mr. Vinci, we used a 5% increase from last year for the county tax, correct?
I think that's what the tax collector put in the resolution, correct?
Okay.
Okay.
I believe,
very much.
you're aware, I believe the county levy is going up 4%, but it's not necessarily 4% for each community, though.
Okay. Okay. That's good information, and thank you very much for letting us know.
Well,
Is there anyone else on the line? Yes. Yes, we can hear you.
One at a time, please.
All right. I don't know if I can't hear anybody else, so am I the person that should be speaking?
Yes, we can.
Anthony, you can go first. I'll wait till you're finished.
Okay, I didn't know Julie was on the line. Thank you, Julie. Anthony
welcome,
Conti,
Anthony.
490 Ridgewood Boulevard North. I want to thank Ms. Feeney for finally getting back to me on my email. There were a couple of things that she didn't answer in the email. I do understand that you're not going to be using the swim club for the DPW according to the email you sent me. But the other question that there were a lot more questions on there. One of the questions on here is, has the township explored other options as using other towns and shared services? And if you haven't, do you plan on at least sending out any requests to other towns that you may be using shared services instead of renting land and putting it at wherever you're talking about putting it, because of course it was done in closed session, so nobody in the town does know.
May I answer, Mr. Conti?
Sure.
So I just want to clarify my email. I said there was not, the definitive location was not determined. In my email, I did not say the swim club was not going to be used, just to be clear. What I did say to you was that a definitive location has not been determined about the DPW across the board. And yes, additional, just so you know, there are inquiries going out to other towns and for other properties in town and for various properties in town in general. Again, since the administration is not finished negotiating, they have not brought final decisions or final options to the council's attention. So at this time, everything is purely speculation until, as the government in our town functions, the administration finalizes what they're doing, brings it to council, we discuss it, we all agree, and then it comes up, we can put it to the public. So at the present time, all options are on the table and are being explored.
Okay, so you did put out a request for bid for other towns to do shared services as well, or are you planning on just using town property?
So again, Mr. Conti, I do not have a definitive answer on to say that we are using town property or not. All options, including other towns' services, are being explored, but at the present time, there is no definitive answer I am able to give you or anyone on the council can give you because the administration has not finished doing their negotiations and with whoever we're going to try to use for the DPW.
Okay, that's fine, but are you putting out or requesting bids from other towns for shared services?
Again, Mr. Conti, I'm not going to answer your question any differently. I understand your concern in trying to bring this to light. However, at the present time, all options are on the table. And yes, I have said that services from other towns are being explored, but at the present time, all options are on the table and are being discussed. However, at the present time, since we haven't come to an agreement and the administration has not finished negotiating, there's nothing definitive that I can give you.
Okay, but if you don't ask other towns for a request or request other towns to give you a bid on shared services, how could you even take that into consideration if you do not have the numbers in front of you?
So, Mr. Conti, what I said to you is that other town services are being explored currently.
You did put out to other towns. You did request other towns for shared services. You didn't request bids for that.
Mr. Conti, I am letting you know, other towns' information, services are being explored. I do not have anything definitive to tell you that a specific bid went out or not. That's why I'm letting you know that all options are on the table and all avenues for the DPW are being explored.
I understand what you're saying completely. What I'm not asking for a specific town. I'm just asking if you requested it to any other town as far as request for bid for shared services. Did you request any town? I don't care what town. I'm not asking to, you don't have to disclose
if a
what
request
town.
went out, I'm not going to tell you specifically what town. Currently, everything is under negotiation. It's currently with the administration. So at this, that's all the information I have to provide to you.
Well, is the mayor in the room?
Yes, I am.
All right, hello, Mayor. Did any request go out to any town regarding bids for shared services? Did the request go out to any other town? That's all I'm asking.
We have reached out to other towns who I cannot name, but we have reached out to them. We are waiting to hear back from them to gauge an interest, to see if they even have room for us. And then from there, once we narrow down the towns that could handle it, we will, take it to the next level to negotiate with them.
Thank you, Mayor. That was very simple. I appreciate your answer.
I believe I gave the same answer. I just think there was a miscommunication, Mr. Conti. But thank you very much for calling in. I really appreciate it.
Well, I don't think it was a miscommunication. I think you were just avoiding the question, but that's fine.
Thank you for your opinion. I really appreciate it.
Your opinion as well. Thank you. Julie, I believe you're up.
Thank you, Anthony. Good evening. Julie Lip, 184 Finnerty Place. In reference, first of all, I'd like to, and then you can address all of my concerns. First one is the walkway over at Finnerty Place into the shopping center. Councilwoman Morgan, I would assume that from your last discussion that the barricades that are there are as a result of your concern about the kids coming out of the shopping center and driving their bicycles into the roadway. Am I correct?
That's correct. It's temporary, though.
I understand that, but I do hope you realize that, quite frankly, it serves no purpose. You're welcome to sit on my lawn with a chair and see what I see. The kids have made it a joke. They weave in and out of those barricades. One of them has been turned over at this point. Basically, what you have created is another nuisance to the area residents because we cannot bring the carts home and unload and go back with the carts. That is basically, the kids are not affected. Just Saturday, I was trimming bushes, and there had to be about a dozen children under the age of 16. Cell phone in hand, one hand on handlebars, no helmets whatsoever. The language I can't even repeat when they saw those barricades, and they simply just zigzagged around them. Actually, they moved them to get into the shopping center. So it serves absolutely no purpose. Years ago, we used to have a bike safety program in town, and I really would hope that the council could address that and perhaps bring it back, because we've never had problems. All of a sudden we do. The kids do not pay attention, and us adults should not be penalized because of their lack of safety concern. That's number one.
Can I respond to that? Can I respond to that? I agree with you. I think we need to do more, and I appreciate your point. I'm definitely open for suggestions, and I will reach out to Chief Skinner to see if there is another alternative while they're figuring out the permanent solution. And I do appreciate your opinion, especially because you do have a front row. So I would love to. What's that?
I welcome anybody to here. Sit on my front lawn if you'd like and see what I see. It's really not pretty. So
I can appreciate that. I definitely appreciate your perspective, and I would love to. I may actually have to take some more time and sit there to kind of see what you're seeing as well, but I do take your word for it. So I will talk to Chief Skinner.
Notice there are no motor vehicle signs there. That was a 2-year fight on by myself, because motorcycles and SUVs and Jeeps would use that walkway as a driveway because people were too lazy to go to the light and exit and enter properly. And the name will be anonymous, but one councilman even said to me that he thought motorcycles are allowed to drive on the sidewalk. So there's a big problem there. As little as that walkway is, it's a great big problem.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I agree with you, and I definitely will look further into it. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Adults for what the kids are doing. It's not fair. Because quite frankly, if I have to get in my car and drive to to do my grocery shopping, I might as well drive to Hillsdale ShopRite, which is basically what I did today, because I can't take advantage of what is across the street.
And I am sorry about that. By no means was it meant to, make anyone else's life more difficult. But I think everyone can agree that, if doing that prevented one tragedy, it's worth at least the little bit of inconvenience. But I see your point 500%. So I will definitely speak with Chief.
Parents should be on their backs but you know, riding a bicycle with a cell phone in hand,
Yeah.
no helmet on, they're asking for the problem. Nobody else is, and that needs to be addressed. Like I said, perhaps a bike safety program. My other concern, if I may move on, is, Madam President, I do respectfully request that you retract your statement from the last meeting of June 15th, when my matter of the sewer was on the agenda. You gave the public the general impression that I had just submitted my documentation on the 10th, almost looking for an instantaneous response and taken care of. However, that is not the case. For those who don't know, all of my documentation was submitted back in March, and I have gotten absolutely no resolve. The matter of the sewers here have been an ongoing problem for almost 2 years now. I find it very interesting that as the resident that has sustained damage in her house, as well as a major problem, I can't get answers. I cannot even so much as get the report that the health department has, that Mr. Tovo has told me numerous times he's going to look into it and try and get me a copy. I have nothing. And I am not going to be subjected to continuous damage in my house. I in no way expected instantaneous results, but I do think submitting information 3 and 4 months out gives you enough time to make a decision. My documentation in my letter.
Unfortunately, I was going off of the documents that the entire council has received that were stamped, received June 11th. So that was the information that all of the council members had in front of us.
March 10th was the first submission. March 10th, I have all my documents in front of me. March 10th, my June 10th was a follow-up because I have not gotten any answers. All the emails between the administrator and myself were all there, including my March 10th letter. So that being said,
Mrs. Lipnick, if you don't mind, unfortunately, I was not privy to any of the emails between yourself and the administrator, just like the rest of the council wasn't. And unfortunately, I only received the documents the same as the rest of the entire council did, which were marked received June 11th. So we were going off of based on the information that we had. It was not anything to do with you waiting. We did not know that. I don't believe any of the other council members knew that. We had asked for the engineer's report previously to Mr. Tovo, but we did not know as a council that you had already sent your information in March.
Sitting here with all the notes. March 10th was the first submission.
So Mrs. Lipnick, I absolutely 100% agree with you. I'm just letting you know what the entire council received from the administration and the date that it was marked. I'm not discrediting or denying anything you're saying. I'm only giving you the information that we had at the time. The rest of the council and myself were not privy to the emails in March. So please understand that.
An original submission by me. No emails, all my bills with a covering letter. And then I followed up.
Did not know that.
All the emails.
Right, but we did not know that.
You go back and take a look. That's all I will ask. I will say this, if you...
But that was sent to the administration. The council was not aware of it.
Public, a little bit of background. I'm living here almost 40 years. When I don't want anyone to ever say, you moved into an area by a shopping center. Yes, I did. But when I moved in here, the shopping center as you see it now did not exist. Okay? The loading docks were in the back of the shopping center, and the building was some 65 feet further back. But That being said, not one resident here, not one of us was ever given the courtesy to review plans. There was never a zoning board hearing. It was just a building permit. And voila, we have what we have today. Sitting right now is Ken Poller, who is well aware of what went on. All of this was done without any input by the residents. And in fact, the attitude back then was, oh, it's only one house that is affected, and that's my house. So it all went through. Bottom line is, the Township of Washington has created a nuisance. And under the nuisance law, health, lack of sleep, quality of life, all becomes matters for which financial reimbursement can occur. On top of it, it's economic obsolescence if you look at the tax codes. And you have, the town has literally put a burden on me. My house is not worth what it could be because of what we have to live with. And the bottom line is nobody cares about the noise. Trucks idle all day and night when they deliver. In fact, the other day there was almost a near collision between two 18-wheelers, one that came up the back and one ShopRite truck that made an illegal entrance at the northbound exiting driveway.
I'd like to know how you're going to decide who gets 5 minutes and who gets 20 minutes.
What's that? What did you say?
I think that's another caller, Mrs. Lipnick.
Oh, okay. So that being said, as you see in my letter, I've now requested that the town forgive my husband and I of the municipal portion of our property taxes to make good for what we have to live with. I wait for your reply. Is that take care of the sewer problem, take care of the backflow preventer in the street so that nobody is impacted once again.
Thank you.
Okay,
Have a
Mrs.
good day.
Lipnick.
Thank you.
Anyone else on the line?
Hello?
Yes, hi, thank you very much for calling in.
Yes, hi, I'm Netta Shora, 62 Edgewood Drive. I was just, my husband and I are watching this, and we were just wondering why some people get to speak for, by the clock, it looks like 20 minutes, about their own personal issues, and other people come on about other issues and are cut off right away. That's very, very evident, what was just happening.
Everyone,
Issue. I'm a little confused, and I want some clarification. The last caller was speaking about side entrance by the supermarket and how there were barriers being put up there because I guess the kids were using it to exit the parking lot on their bikes. But because it's a problem now for her and other residents because they can't take the shopping carts off the property of the supermarket. Am I clear on that?
Yes, you're clear.
So it's okay to take shopping carts, which are the property of a supermarket, off site if you return them?
yes, that's correct.
You have a point.
Yeah, I do have a point. I mean, I was sitting here, I was incredulous. You know, that's a very interesting point because, you know, I don't live near the supermarket. I don't have the, I don't know what word I should use. I don't have the opportunity to take the supermarket and take it 2 miles away back to my house, you know, take the shopping cart. But because somebody lives there, I don't know. The whole thing was just crazy, and we were watching it. And, you know, I don't know. Sometimes I think you guys got to get a little better control over what's happening and what people are talking about at these meetings. Thank you.
Ma'am, before you hang up. Gone.
I didn't get her name in the beginning. It was fuzzy.
Neither did I. That's what I was just going to ask her. All right.
Okay. If the person who just called in could email the township and just give us your name and address. It was very fuzzy in the beginning. if you wouldn't mind, if you are on the call and you're hearing us.
But we
Is
thank
there
you.
anyone?
I just want to respond to that. We thank you very much for your input in that. Appreciate your input.
Yes, and again, I tried to let everybody speak 5 minutes. Unfortunately, Mrs. Lipnick, I felt that it wasn't the time to interrupt her. So again, is anyone else on the line?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I'm sorry. Could who's on the line?
Kevin Doyle from 655 Fern Street.
Yes. Thank you for.
Yeah, I just two quick questions. First question. What other roads are on the list for the road improvement project? Are there any other roads besides Washington Avenue and Ridgewood Road that will be on the program for this summer, if I may have an update on that?
Mr. Tovo?
There will be additional roads. I don't have the list with me, but if he can email me tomorrow, I will gladly give him that.
Thank you.
Residential roads will be on the program, or is it just mainly the main roads such as Washington, Pascack, and Ridgewood?
No, there are additional roads both planned as of now and more that we're going to add. So if you can email me tomorrow, I'll give you that list.
That would be much appreciated. Thank you. My second question is there an update on the intersection of Washington and Pascack, if I may ask that? Is there any update by any chance?
So I believe there will be an update at the next meeting. Mr. Tovo, do you have the project tracker with you or no?
I do not, but yes, we are planning for a complete update at the next meeting.
Okay, so there will be an update at the July 13th meeting about the intersection. Since tonight we didn't request Mr. Tovo to bring the project tracker with him.
But Stacy, the quick update is we're still going through property acquisition.
Okay, that's
As of
thank you,
right
Mr.
now.
Mayor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Anybody else on the line?
Yes, I pulled back earlier.
Give my name and address, which we just replayed and we can hear perfectly well on TV, but it's Annette DeShora and it's at 62 Edgewood Drive.
Thank you very much for calling back.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else on the line?
This is Joseph Scalia, 813 Ridgewood Boulevard East. And there's been a lot of discussion in town around overdevelopment. And recently a developer passed by my home to tell me there's plans to build 44 units in a very small piece of land next to Washington School. And they're proposing to put 44 units, including low housing income, in this area. And this is going to be less than 50 feet away from the school. So I wanted any news or information about this?
I believe that's currently at the, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Cummings, is that with the planning or the zoning board right now?
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Still on so hard to mute, and then I can't get unmuted. There's nothing been submitted yet for the property next to Memorial Field.
Okay, so I believe
Mrs. Feeney, there is this application that was submitted to the planning board.
to the planning board.
Yes.
Okay, so
For
there
that
is
specific
currently,
property, Michael?
Yes, for that specific property. The gentleman has his numbers correct.
okay.
Okay.
So I believe at the present time,
Yeah, I'm not in
that is-
contact with that.
oh, okay. So I believe at the present time that is with the planning board. The council does not have that as of yet.
I wasn't even aware of that.
Right, we're not in receipt of it as of yet. It is with the planning board initially. And Sue, when is the next planning board meeting?
I know there's one on July 1st, but that's one thing, one application. And then I believe the 29th of July, let me see.
Okay, but July 1st is the next meeting.
Right,
So
but
there
it's
is a
only one
plan.
night, it's not that night. Yeah, July 29th.
Okay, so there is, so July 29th, that property is on the planning board meetings agenda.
Will there be a public notice in regard to this?
There should be a public notice.
Okay. I'm just hoping the council and the mayor are concerned about putting 44 units across from our grammar school, especially knowing that these properties will be less than 50 feet from the playground of our schools. So I think with all the development that we're planning on doing, we look at seasons and we see these homes that are falling apart, and now we're deciding to put a huge facility, a 3-story facility potentially, for a Alzheimer's or old age home, which I'm not even sure we have the fire trucks to actually, if there was a fire in the 3-story building, to put that fire out. So it's just very concerning that the council, that we want to make sure it's brought to your attention that this is going to be a very big concern, especially for all parents that go to Washington School. So thank you so much for listening.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Absolutely. I am actually a Washington school parent, and I agree with you. However, right now it is with the planning board, but I think we'll be closely monitoring that process.
Yeah, and Stacy, I'd just like to add, like the one that's currently in front of the zoning board, the residents should let their voices be heard on any applications that affect them, because the boards do take that into account. So let your voices be heard by either calling in, writing in, emailing in, but you have to be heard.
Yeah, and just so everyone knows, the zoning board meetings.
Oh? Stacy? Stacy?
Hello there.
Yes, I'm here.
We lost you. You started saying something about zoning board and then we lost you.
Yeah, I got kicked. I got kicked off. Yeah.
Well, the upshot of
So
the whole
I wanted
thing.
to let everybody know.
Stacy, the upshot of the
to let
whole
everybody
thing
know
is that we're not informed of what is being handled by planning and zoning, and we are not involved in those processes, which are entirely separate from our function. And the residents would be notified within 200 feet by certified mail. And then they have every opportunity to join the meeting and the discussion and see how redeeming the properties are, the improvements could be.
Yeah, and I'd also like to add that Mr. DeSena is currently the council representative on the planning board, and so I'm sure he will keep the council updated on a big application like this, as I would also try to do.
Yes, we just received it, Mr. Mayor. That's why I
Correct. Yeah, but I know as it evolves, we'll keep the residents informed.
Correct.
Thanks.
Okay. Yes, I wanted to say that the council.
I don't hear Stacy. Is she on?
I'm right here. Can you hear me? Desiree, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Stacy.
Okay.
I don't hear her. But you guys can hear me, right?
Yes, I
Should
can.
I
I
log out
can
and
hear
go
you.
back
Yes,
on?
I can.
Yes.
I can hear you. Yes. Okay, so in general, I wanted to say that the council is not informed initially on some of the projects that go before the zoning and the planning board, like Mr. Cummings was saying, and that also, I just found out that there is I think that's what happened. There is a planning board meeting on July 1st at 7:30 p.m. is the next one, and you can voice your opinion about anything that's going on in town. And I also wanted to let everybody know that the zoning board and planning board meetings, Mike, the planning board meeting's not being broadcast on television, correct? I know the zoning isn't, and planning board.
Planning and zoning are both being televised using Zoom, both boards.
But they're not available on WCTV.
That I can't answer.
Yeah, I believe so. That's what I was told.
That's
so
correct.
everyone's aware. Okay. That they're not on WCTV. That you have to actually go on the website to find the information about when the meeting is and how to write in and get in touch with the people on the zoning board.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay, does that take care of your questions or? Oh wait, hold on. I'm just gonna invite Desiree.
Is there anyone else on the line?
Yeah, Michael Lampkin,
Hold on.
773 Amherst Drive.
Hold on, Mr. Lemkin. Your house number one more time, please?
723 Amherst Drive.
Thank you. Stacy?
Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry, Mr. Lumpkin. Please go ahead. Thank you for calling in.
First, I'd like to tell the last caller, Mr. Scalia, my neighborhood was dealing with the same issue with what's happening at the tennis club, and we got the word out. There was even an article written about it in the newspaper, and we ended up having, I heard, over 65 people call into the zoning board meeting, and a lot of stuff has changed since then to the benefit of the town. So I agree. I don't want that development next to the school where my daughter will be going. So I would definitely start getting all the neighbors involved now and get a big contingent to call the zoning board. And I'd also just like to give support to the previous caller before him, the lady that lived on Finnerty, because a lot of us residents are seeing what it's like to buy a house in town, and then all these large developments are being shoved down our throats, changing the area that we moved into. So I hope the council will take what she said seriously and look into doing something for her. At the very minimum, I mean, why is there truck noise that affects her past the hours within our town, which I believe was mentioned at the last meeting that I watched. So I hope someone will do something to help her out in that regard. But the main reason why I was calling was about the taxes. And I know we got some answers previously. I just want to get some clarification, make sure I understood it. So we don't know what Bergen County is going to do. So we estimated 5% for Bergen County. Okay, fine. I understand that. But what other increases and what were the rates used for things? Because my taxes went up more than 5%.
Yes, so this was an estimated bill. Mr. Vinci, are you still on the line?
Yes, I am.
Would you mind taking this question, please?
So the value of your home will determine the increase that you had in the Board of Bills. So the average home in the township is roughly $465,000. And I believe the collector was using estimated amounts that were known in May, calculate the final rate to use for the estimated bill. So it's difficult to gauge the impact because it varies by, obviously, if you're higher than $465,000 in valuation, then the tax impact would be greater. If your house is less, then you would have less of an impact. So
No, I understand that. I just want to know what the rate is. Taxes went up 6%. So if you did 5% for Bergen County, where's the other 1%? Because my house is assessed at, I think it was 508, which is not significantly more than 465. And on the mayor's Facebook page, he said if your house is worth 465, your increase will be $79. I'm assuming that's per quarter, and my increase was around $200 per quarter at 508. So I'm just struggling to understand the math on that.
Well, you have to realize, too, the first 2 quarters, you're paying a lower amount because it's based on last year's tax calculation. So the last 2 quarters in a calendar year is where the municipalities make up the difference with the tax rate. So the school number, just to give you an idea, the estimated calendar year increase for the regional school is $140. So, I mean, I don't know how the final calculation will come out. All I could tell everybody is that with estimated bills, the amounts that the collector utilized in certain situations may have been greater than what the final number would be, but the calculation for the adjustment, everybody will see in their fourth quarter bill. So if you paid a little bit more in the third quarter than what you should have, then your fourth quarter bill will be adjusted downward from what you should have paid.
Okay, but so then the $79, if you had a house worth $465, is not realistic and probably doesn't exist for anybody in the town.
Well, Mr.
I don't know
Lincoln,
that. The $79 is just the municipal portion of the bill. The bill includes.
Yes, thank you, Gary.
All right, well, then I would say it would have been really appreciated if this information was sent to everybody before just slapping us with a very large bill and causing a lot of people to be upset about it and have to wait for a meeting. I mean, I don't think it would have been difficult to give the information to the residents beforehand and explain it better than just throwing, an $800 bill on top of everything else to us.
Thank you, Mr. Lumpkin. We appreciate your opinion and we'll take that into consideration for next year. And also, but just so you could see it if you want, the information is also part of the budget lines.
Oh my God, that's seriously.
All right, thank you.
Was there somebody else with on the line, or was there somebody with Mr. Lumpkin on, or?
Hello, is there anyone else there? Anyone else for public comment? Hello? Hello, is there anyone for public comment? Seems quiet, Stacy.
Motion to close, motion to close public discussion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay.
Mrs. Feeney? Mrs. Feeney,
Yes, Councilman DeSena.
just so the public is aware, the July 1st Zoom planning board meeting will be broadcast on WCTV.
They're working on it. It's not definitive yet. That's why I didn't announce it. Ricky's still working on it.
I was told it was. Okay. That's
Okay,
fine.
just so you know, they're working on it. I didn't want to put it out there if it didn't happen.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Adoption of second reading, ordinance number 20-06. Calendar year 2020 ordinance to exceed the municipal appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank. Resolution number 20-238 authorizing second reading and opening a public hearing for ordinance 20-06. Sorry? Did I miss something?
No.
Okay. May I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Okay, I'll second it. Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Cumming.
Yes.
Councilman DeSena.
No.
Councilwoman Morgan.
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes.
You need to open the public hearing, Stacy.
I know, so I think that was a miss in here. I was just reading through. Motion to open public discussion for a hearing for ordinance 20-06.
No, you did it. It's part of that resolution. You're authorizing second reading and opening the public hearing. So
Okay,
the hearing is open to the public.
okay, so you want to,
One second. Is there anyone commenting on the public hearing on ordinance number 20-06? Hello? Anyone there for comment on the public hearing?
Hi, Sue.
Hello?
Hi, it's Diane Grimaldi.
Hi, Diane Grimaldi. You're for the public hearing on ordinance 0-06?
For the budget.
Well, for the cap bank, the ordinance.
this is for the cat bank, Mrs. Grimaldi.
Okay, sorry, I will call back.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Is there anyone else on the line? Okay, motion to, oh. Sue, what happened?
Anyone else?
Okay, motion to close public hearing for ordinance 20-06. May I have a motion?
Moved.
Okay,
Second.
second? Okay.
Second.
Sue, roll call.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Cumming,
Yes.
Councilman DeSena,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes. Motion to adopt ordinance number 20-06 at second reading by title. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Sue, roll call?
Councilman Casio,
No.
Councilman Cumming,
Yes.
Councilman DeSena,
No.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes. Okay, ordinance number 20-07, an ordinance honoring township veterans by naming township streets after veterans. Resolution number 20-245, authorizing second reading and opening a public hearing for ordinance 20-07. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, I'll second it. Sue, roll call?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Cumming,
Yes.
Councilman DeSena,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes. Sue, can you please open the public line?
It's open.
Okay. Is there anyone on the line for the veterans, for the township streets naming for veterans? Okay, since there's no one on the motion to close public hearing for ordinance 20-07.
So moved.
Second.
Sue, roll call?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Cumming,
Yes.
Councilman DeSena,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes.
We're told this isn't it. Stephanie, isn't it?
Yes, because I should have followed that pulling in there.
Hello,
Yeah, but you can't get in that state.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Okay, I think someone's talking in the background, and whoever it is, they're not on mute.
Yes.
Ordinance
that's
number 20-08, an ordinance amending
No,
the
Tracy,
requirements.
Tracy, you need to adopt the ordinance.
Oh,
Get
I
the
thought
motion to adopt ordinance 20-7.
Okay. Somebody's got their TVs
Yeah.
on. Okay, motion to adopt ordinance number 20-07 at second reading by title. May I have a
So moved.
motion?
So moved.
Second.
Do roll call?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Cumming,
Yes.
Councilman DeSena,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes. Ordinance number 20-08, an ordinance amending the requirements for canopy signs within the Township of Washington Shopping Center. Resolution number 20-240, authorizing second reading and opening a public hearing for ordinance 20-08. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Sue, roll call?
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Cumming,
Yes.
Councilman DeSena,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes. Sue, please open the line.
It is open.
Okay, are you just leaving it open?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anyone on the line for the canopy signs within the Township of Washington Shopping Center? Okay, motion to close public hearing for ordinance 20-08.
So moved.
Second.
Do roll call.
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Cumming,
Yes.
Councilman DeSena,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes.
I'm now closing up line, Stacy.
Okay,
Adoption.
introduction, first reading.
No, Stacy, we need to adopt.
Okay, thank you. Perfect, okay. Oh, sorry. Motion to adopt ordinance number 20-08 at second reading by title. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Can you guys not hear me?
No, you're going in and out.
Okay. Sue, roll call.
So,
Councilman Cassio.
what ordinance is this? I couldn't hear.
20-08, the canopy
Right, adoption.
signs.
Sue, what's the thing?
The adoption of ordinance 20-08 at second reading. This is for the canopies.
For the canopies?
Yes.
Yes.
So roll call is Councilman Cassio,
Yes.
Councilman Cumming,
Yes.
Councilman DeSena,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes. Okay, is that better? Can you hear me now?
You're fine.
I can.
Okay, good. Budget resolutions. Resolution number 20-241, certification of compliance with the United States Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Sue, roll call?
Councilman Cassio,
Yes.
Councilman Cumming,
Yes.
Councilman DeSena,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes. Resolution number 20-242, waiver the reading in full of the 2020 budget. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Sue, roll call?
Councilman Cassio,
Yes.
Councilman Cumming,
Yes.
Councilman DeSena,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes. Resolution number 20-243, self-examination 2020 municipal budget. May I have a motion?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Second.
Sue, roll call?
Councilman Cassio,
Yes.
Councilman Cumming,
Yes.
Councilman DeSena,
Yes.
Councilwoman Morgan,
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes. 2020 budget adoption. Public hearing on the 2020 township budget, 7:30 p.m. is advertised. If anyone desires to be heard regarding the 2020 township budget, please dial in on 201-664-4659. You will be asked to state your name and address for the record, and we ask that only one person speak at a time. Please note that at the end of the public hearing, no more calls will be accepted. And there's a limit to 5 minutes. May I have a motion to open the public hearing?
Thanks, God. So moved.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Good.
Could you please open the line?
Stacy, could you please read that statement for the record, please? While I open the line?
Oh, please note that a copy of the 2020 township budget was posted on the township website on May 28, 2020. As noted in the advertisement placed in the Bergen Record and available by contacting the township clerk during normal business hours. Thanks. Sorry,
Thank
Sue.
you. Thank you. No, thank you. Okay, it's open, Stacy.
Thank you, Sue. Is anybody on the line?
I hear somebody. Hello? Are you on the line for the public hearing on the budget?
Yes, yes.
Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Joe Durso, 12 Viola Terrace.
Thank you, Mr. Durso.
My one question is, the 20-06, the cap on, obviously for this budget, passed with a 3-2 vote. Does it carry, or did you need 4?
Mr. Vinci?
The vote follows the normal adoption process of a municipal ordinance, which I believe is majority.
So even though it's correct. X dollars, a 3-2 vote carries. Hello?
I'm here.
So they can't hear me. My question is, even though there's
Stacy, you're muted.
Establish a cap bank, that takes a vote of 4 usually for the council to pass because it's money. Does a 3-2 vote carry? Because Mr. Vinci says it's, it's majority. But
Right. Mr. Pollard?
I agree with Mr. Vinci. That's correct.
I believe was it an increase to the line? I don't.
Both Mr. Vinci and Mr. Pollard say it passes with a 3-2 vote, Joe.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I missed the last part. Mr. Gerso, do you have any more questions?
I think he left.
Oh, okay. Thank you
Is
for
there anyone
calling
else?
in.
Yeah, hello, Sue. This is Michael Oman.
Mr. Oman?
Yes, Mr. Ullman, thank you for calling in.
Hello. So my question is, in the public notice for this evening's meeting, there is a discussion on, there's a number reported, the amount of bonds, notes, and loans of $6.785 million. And I guess my question is, this budget contemplates a 3-year capital plan of $4.4 million. Big components of that is 1.5 for a ladder truck and 1.5 in road programs. So do you know what the prospective impact will be on taxpayers if we move forward with the 4.4?
Mr. Vinci, do you happen to have that information or is something we need to get back to Mr. Ullman on?
Well, the debt will not be known until actually, well, first of all, the capital budget is only a plan. So until the Township Council adopts a capital ordinance authorizing those projects, the debt really will not be known till that point. And the primary factor driving how much it would be the interest rate market conditions at that time. Currently, the interest rates are very low for municipal debt. But obviously, if you're going out 2 years, there's a matter of estimation that you have to build into the interest rate. So it's pretty difficult to estimate what the rate would be a year, even 6 months down the road. I can tell you the interest rates 2 months ago, because of the pandemic, were extremely high. They have since been reduced to where the market condition for issuing government debt is actually very strong. I could only give you an example. Last month, a municipality sold, I believe it was 15-year bonds and had an interest rate of under 2%. So I do not know the impact, but I wouldn't know the time frame as to when the council was looking or will adopt those ordinances. As I said, the capital budget is strictly a plan of projects that they have been discussing.
Okay, so the 6.78 does not include the 4.4 plan for the 3-year plan. Is that a correct statement?
If I couldn't hear the question because there's beeping on the phone.
The 6785 does not include the 4.4 in the budget for the capital plan.
Oh, that's correct. The 6.7 is only the outstanding bonds that the township currently has.
Okay. Do you know, does the 6.785 include Ordinance 1919, the $6 million for the emergency service building, or 1917, 1.3 for the DPW, 650,000 for the pumper, 750,000 for the radio upgrade, 1 million for prior year road program. So that's another 9.7 million in ordinances passed but not funded. So if we were to do those ordinances plus the 4.4 in the capital plan, we're looking at $13 million in additional.
That's correct.
Okay, but we don't know what that impact is.
You will not know until the township goes into the bond market, finance those projects, because I would think initially those projects will be financed by anticipation notes, which is a one-year note, and bonds may not be issued immediately, long-term bonds, I should.
Excuse me, hello, excuse me, excuse me.
Is somebody on there?
Yeah, there's somebody on there pushing a button. Please stop pushing that button. You need to wait your turn.
Very rude.
Sue, I know you're trying to do this as best you can, but it's almost impossible to have a dialogue, ask questions, and hear an answer.
I agree, especially
Well,
when somebody's beeping.
The problem was here, somebody was on the line pushing buttons unnecessarily.
I understand the problem. I heard it. My comment was that it makes it very difficult to participate in the budget hearing during that.
Unfortunately, we don't have other options, so we need to make do with what we have.
No, we do have other options. You choose not to use them.
Okay, let's keep it moving, because this is not helpful.
You're the one who made the statement, not me.
Okay, please don't quarrel on the phone. Mr. Ullman, do you have any more questions regarding the budget?
No, I just think that the public should be aware that there is contemplated another $13 million in capital expenditures that are not reflected in the increase of $79 that was quoted, and that we can look forward to further increases, I'm sure. So thank you.
Is that another caller?
I do believe so.
Yeah, somebody on the line.
Mr. Ullman, are you still there?
I am.
Okay. I'm sorry. Could you finish the last part of your statement? I'm very sorry that happened to you.
Yes, I just made a statement that the budget increase that we saw on the municipal line for the township does not include $13 million in contemplated expenditures, over 9 of which have been approved but not funded, and another 4 that are part of the 3-year capital plan. And that the residents should be aware that this is not the end of it. Are part of the 3-year capital plan. And that the residents should be aware that this is not the end of it. Are part of the 3-year capital plan. And that the residents should be aware that this is not the end of it.
Stacy, is someone talking? I can't hear anything.
I agree, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Ullman, are you still on the line?
Yeah, I repeated my statement. I don't know if I need to repeat it again.
Somebody's playing a game on the phone tonight.
Well, someone clearly doesn't appreciate the public comment, or at least my comments.
Well, I don't know if it's directed at you. Maybe I agree. Maybe somebody's having a bit of what they happen to think would be funny, but to us, it's not.
Thank you very much for your support.
Is there
anyone else?
Other callers while someone's talking? There's not like a hold? The other person can hear everything that the caller is saying?
Yes.
Is there anyone else on the line?
Hello, is there anyone on the line? Anyone else on the line? Public comment on the budget?
Motion to close comment.
Okay.
Second.
Sue, did you hang up or is there still somebody on the line?
I'm about to hang up. Is there
Okay.
someone on the line? I'm hanging up, Stacy.
Okay, I think that's a
Motion to
good
close.
idea. Yeah, we did. We have the motion. Okay, did you?
Done.
Somebody is playing on the phone, I have to say. I have to agree. Somebody
Public
is
comment when
definitely,
it's closed, yeah.
yeah, somebody was playing on the phone.
All right, so we have a motion by Councilman Cassio and a second by Councilman Cumming.
Yes, to close, yes. I should just see what it was.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. So sorry that happened. Fortunately, the phone number is on the website and public, so anybody can get it. Resolution number 20-244, adoption of the 2020 township budget. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I'll second. Okay, Art seconds. Sue, roll call.
Councilman Cassio.
No.
Councilman Cumming.
Yes.
Councilman DeSena.
No.
Councilwoman Morgan.
Yes.
Council President Feeney.
Yes.
Mr. Vincent, Mr. Pollard, would you like to weigh in officially?
We don't have to weigh in. It's passed.
Thank you.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
I would just like to say that I did reach out to council more than once to find out if anybody had any issues with the budget, and I did not receive any responses. I'm very glad that we have passed it based on the conversations in the last meeting. We were all in agreement. Motion to adjourn meeting.
So moved.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.